Joe, you say you're getting ready to travel. Can you share where you're going? Is it top secret or are you on a mission?
I'm staying local today, Chris, but I put on the nice suit coat for you and Jerry.
That's very exciting. I just saw Jerry last week. We did our live, our in-person meeting. We're back to in-person meetings, which is great. Jerry was all dressed up.
Yeah.
It's rare. But you don't realize I have shorts and gym shoes on underneath. So, we're just going to keep the camera up top and above.
It's fine. Jerry and I don't even have pants on. It's fine. I am a hot mess today, though. I'll be honest with you, because you'll see her. She'll pop up here in a little bit, but I've got the dog. She has a torn ACL, like a minor torn ACL. And so it's a lab pit shepherd mix. And Jerry's met her. Joe, I know you haven't met her, but she's energetic, well behaved, but
very
super
energetic.
So they told us crate rest her, which means she can't go anywhere. Like we have to let her in the backyard. We have 3 acres. To let her in the backyard, like we have to put her on a leash. Oof. Oh, and it's making her crazy. So every once in a while she'll pop up like bloop, and we have to scold her, get off that bad knee. So
I hope she does okay. And I have to compliment you. Your construction looks like it's complete, though. Like your home office looks great.
It's close. I will tell you.
Hold
on. I have a thing here. I'll show you. You're gonna laugh. So I bought these. Do you know what these are?
I do not know what those are.
So these are soundproofing. They're like sound dampeners. And when we did the remodel of this office, we ripped a closet out and made it into a recording studio.
Oh.
Right now, it's just a closet shaped like a recording studio. But we're gonna put these in eventually.
I love it.
So then we'll get we'll have kind of a real vibe in here on the podcast show.
That's awesome.
It's exciting. Well, are you guys, are you ready to get going?
We're ready.
All right, let's see if we can get this started. There we go. There's the button.
Welcome to the CXR channel, our premier podcast for talent acquisition and talent management. Listen in as the CXR community discusses a wide range of topics focused on attracting, engaging, and retaining the best talent. We're glad you're here.
Okay, welcome back to another edition of Recruiting Community. I am Chris Witt. I am your host for the next 20 minutes or so. I have my co-pilot. There he is, Mr. Crispin. How are you today, Jerry?
Doing well. Doing well.
Welcome to the show, Jerry. It's good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we just returned from a week on the road.
That was a lot of fun. Florida was beautiful. It was fabulous.
Oh, it absolutely was. So we did marketing and branding meeting. We had about 30 companies that were out. Lots of sharing. I think we had 28 member presentations, which was a lot for us. Number of exercises. Was there a highlight for you?
The tour of IMG was mind-blowing. Not knowing much about that, but realizing that they cater to some of the world's elite athletes who are, in high school kind of thing, and that almost half of all of their boarders go to college free. So I find that fascinating.
Insane. 20% of starters come out of there or something crazy. We had the president of IMG came out and talked. He was just as cool as could be. It was
very cool.
Smooth dude, former Rutgers football player and just super athlete, super nice. Whole team was fantastic. Well, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Look, if you're joining us, we're streaming live on the Twitter and the LinkedIn and the YouTube and a couple of the other those. You can jump right in. If there's a chat window, drop a hello in there, throw your LinkedIn profile in there. You can say hello. We've got a fantastic guest today. He's returning to the show. I don't think he's been on in a little while. We'll bring him in here in just a second to talk about what's going on in recruitment marketing. But again, if you're in the live chat and you're with us, ask questions. You can just jump right in or just say hello. We might even surprise you and throw your beautiful face. Maybe it's not beautiful. I don't know who's out there, but we'll throw somebody's face up on the screen. With that, let's go ahead and welcome Joe. There he is, Mr. Shaker. How are you?
Hello, Mr. Hoyt. Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for cutting some time out of your schedule and for wearing clothes on the show.
Just for you. I took it out of the closet right out for the event today.
Nothing in my closet fit anymore. So I applaud you for being able to get into that.
It may look good, but it is real tight, Chris.
Keeping it open.
Yes.
So, Joe, why don't you give us sort of, for those who may not know you, who are not familiar with you and your organization, why don't you give us kind of an escalator pitch of who is Joe Shaker and why should we care to listen to what Joe has to say?
Sure. Well, I don't know if I can tell you why you should care, but I'll do my best, and I'll share a little bit about Shaker. And I appreciate, obviously, the opportunity today. Shaker Advertising is a full-service recruitment marketing agency. We've been in business for over 70 years, celebrating our 72nd year in business. It was started by my grandfather, who was one of the pioneers in creating recruitment ad agencies, with the likes of himself and Bernard Hodis. And through the 7 decades, obviously, our industry has evolved. I'll even say within the last 5 years, right? And one of the topics we're going to talk today is just how the ever-changing world of recruitment marketing continues to evolve. So is our agency. My father and his siblings really grew the agency over the last 50 years. And then I took over about 20 years ago, went working full-time and became president just about 8 years ago. And been really enjoying kind of keeping true to the core of who Shaker is, but obviously also evolving with the times and being relevant and working with clients and partners of all shapes and sizes. So I will say one of the things I love about my job in my seat is I get to work with my employees, I get to work with my fabulous clients and partner with all different types of partners, from media to creative to even technology partnerships across the U.S., for that matter, across the globe. So it's a fun seat that I get to sit in, and privileged to keep my grandfather dream and legacy going strong.
Keeping the legacy alive. I love it. So how big it? Well, do you know a guy named Tom Strauss?
I do know Tom Strauss.
Oh man, you've already got some fandom going on over in the side in the chat.
I paid him $5 to show up today.
I was going to say.
So hey, he's from Chicago too. That's how we roll. So
yeah. It's easy. It's easy. $5. It's nothing.
Good to see you, Tom.
So, Joe, to just kind of play on Tom's comment, and then the whole reason we brought you in, like you've got your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the space from a marketing and branding. You own a company that's just wildly successful. You're doing so well. If we were to ask you, what's top of mind for you right now in the recruitment marketing or branding space specifically, what would you tell us?
Yeah, and I hate to use buzzwords, right, Chris? And I think everyone right now, and I think you even had a post, how many vendors right now are calling you saying that I have a direct integration or affiliation with ChatGPT? Right?
I knew you were going to say that.
It's the reality of the situation. And in all fairness, right, it's good that I think finally, this isn't something new. I mean, it's a hot buzz topic over the last couple of months, but let's go back the last couple of years, right? Automation, however you want to look about it, and artificial intelligence has been talked about for the last 3, 4, 5 years in terms of how it can make an impact in TA and recruitment marketing. Yeah. And so, yes, it's driving me crazy that that's what everyone wants to talk about, and it's the big buzzword, and every vendor saying they're a version of ChatGPT. I embrace and I applaud, at least like we're taking notice, and there's going to be, right, with this explosion, a lot more new, I think, companies and technologies that come at the forefront because people are trying to see how can they harness this. Yeah. And I'm not saying this just because Jerry knows how much I respect him. In full disclaimer, there is a family relationship there, but as the godfather to candidate experience and responding to people, one of the frustrations we always heard decades ago was there's not enough people to respond to the amount of applications coming in. Mm-hmm. So even though we want to deliver a good candidate experience, we don't have the budgets to hire the manpower to be able to respond to people in a timely and efficient manner. And whether or not we want to agree or disagree with that and how to get the fundings and all our conversations that we've had for decades, the reality of the situation now with technology, with automation, with, I'll say, the rise of ChatGPT, right? You can automate that process, and you can now truly respond to candidates in an efficient manner in terms of getting back to them, answering their questions, and then also scheduling them, right? Why do we make people wait? We know that the longer they wait, the opportunities that are going to come at them, they're going to move to other opportunities. And so part of this is efficiencies and speed. The first one to get to them is going to win. And that's where I think, this rise of, call it ChatGPT, but I'm just going to call it automation, call it AI, is really going to change the future of the recruitment marketing space. And the organizations that harness it, whether you be on the partner side
Yep.
or you be on the company side. The ones that find ways in which to harness, at least that's what Shaker's doing, is like, where can we use this to be beneficial, are the ones that are going to win, both companies as well as for partners.
Yeah. So if you happen to be listening and you're watching this and you're in a place where you've got the chat up on the screen in one of those, let us know if you're using Chat Jigabuka within your organization. So if you've tested or played with it, chime in with how you've sort of used the automation and what you think. Now, I'll tell you, Joe, last week, employment branding, marketing, live in-person meetings, right? So CXR is back.
Yeah.
We did a demo up on live on the wall, and thank God it didn't time out on us or tell us it wasn't available in the middle of the session. But I'll lay it to see if this surprises you. Probably won't. We gave it some parameters and said what company we worked at. And Jerry, keep me honest on this. We told it we had a budget to launch an EVP, brand new employment brand, value prop, whole thing. We gave it a timeline, and then we also told it we had a specific hiring need, like an increased hiring need that was off the rails over the next year at our organization.
For a specific job.
For a very specific job.
Sure.
Yes, like we were hiring, I'll just put like 1,000 software engineers in the next 100 days, something like that, right? Something crazy. So, and then we said, deliver us a strategy and a timeline and put estimated costs on each line item. And I have to tell you, what came back was a hell of a starter packet. I think everybody in the room, there's a wow factor to watching that, right? But it was hell of a starter kit. And it's something that as a former TA leader, I might have given to a team member to go draft out and given them 2 weeks to do it. And it was like that.
Yep.
So, and then I think the last piece was we said, well, how many people do we need? Somebody in the crowd said, well, how many people do we need? And we asked, and then it laid out 6 job descriptions and titles of the people we would need to successfully pull that off.
Yep. So my answer though, Chris, and you said it, starter packet.
Yeah.
Right? And so one of the things that I would tell you, so, and then I can go back to my earlier statement, those that harness it, whether they be agencies like myself or partners, again, or clients, right, are going to be at the forefront. But it gives you a basis point to start. But I think one of the things that's changed in this space, in any type of media, even if Shaker were to produce that media plan, how do you react to it? And one of the things that's changed in our space is based on data, based on metrics, based on results. Gone are the days of fixed purchases where we're buying things and setting it and locking it in. We need to be able to move, either drive more applications or obviously stop sending in applications because we meet those objectives. So even though we budgeted $50,000 and said keep spending it on these other sites and sources, we don't have to do that anymore. And so even though it's giving you that base, it's what ChatGPT today, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, how does it react to then what happens once those ads are posted? That's kind of the differentiator that any good provider in the space is kind of taking a look at it and then responding to basically kind of where the applications are coming in and where we're seeing results and where we're not.
I think what's also missing from not just this conversation, but what's happening with the discussion at ChatGPT in general is we're not really thinking clearly about what the candidates, the prospects are going to do with ChatGPT in response to what the employers are doing.
There it is.
Yep.
So as the employers rewrite job descriptions, for example, that are published on a job board, the candidate can ask ChatGPT to rewrite their resume in response to the job description to maximize their competitive capabilities, as an example. But I think even more so, as we start looking deeply at transparency, we want to know everything there is to know about the candidates that we're going to select as to whether they can do the job. But the candidates will want to know from a transparency point of view as to what the company will deliver to them in terms of opportunity, development, et cetera, in the team that they're going to be in. And they should be able to get more deeply into the weeds, if you will, as to how good that manager is at developing people, based on what ChatGPT can access. So I'm looking forward to the fact that there may be a balance now in terms of access to these kinds of capabilities on both sides, and we should be thinking about decision making from both sides.
True. Agree with that. And then you have the components too. What are the hiring managers really saying that they want? I mean, they have to get inside the organization and find out, again, full transparency, authenticity, like who do they want? I mean, ChatGPT is not going to know what company A is different versus company B and what it's truly like to work there. So even in writing the job descriptions, it will give you the core basics, but it can't tell you, what we should and should not say as it relates to the company's employment value proposition, so that we obviously don't just drive in more applications that ultimately are going to bounce. Like the key to this is retention. We don't just need more apps.
Well, I think that's
more of the right apps.
That's the miss too, right, Joe? People think it's thinking, and it's not. It's just sort of an amalgamation of, it's just this language exercise that's going through and pulling back a really great, internet search.
Correct. But I think, Chris, we can say, over time, right, what's going to happen is there's going to be a personalization, right, to ChatGPT. Microsoft didn't spend billions to not take this thing to scale. So I think it's going to get obviously smarter and smarter. And we all know what's going on with personalization. Like, will companies be able to go in and purchase the ChatGPT and be able to put in persona information about what it's like to work for the company, so it does blend the two?
You can do that now to a degree. I think it's pretty limited. But Joe, you reminded me, I think, in the last 2 weeks, they announced Copilot. Microsoft announced they're going to be incorporating it into the Office suite.
Correct. And it's, soon thereafter, LinkedIn, right? We all know Microsoft's investment in LinkedIn. So you could see it moving right into there as well. I think. So it'll be.
I want to be careful. I don't want to set the house off when I say this. I'm not a Alexa house. I'm a Google Home house. We're safe. I do want all the lights going off and the blinds closing. So when we talked to that using those commands for Bard, it seems to think Bard is already integrated, but it's not.
Yeah.
Right. And the budget example I gave earlier, and Jerry, I don't know if you remember this or if we called it out. I don't think we even called it out. We gave it a budget of $100,000. It came in at 110. So, so it's a recruiter after my own heart. But so there's a lot of recruiting examples for the automation stuff, but also a lift too. And I think might have been Jim Durbin, I read somewhere, was asking it to write a letter using scarcity tactics to a hiring manager that they should look at this candidate.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of that, kind of stuff going on. But is there anything sort of exciting for you from like in the marketing and branding space specifically?
Well, I think it's product placement at its finest, the Career Crossroads book, right?
I do see
that. That sign though. You would think after all these years I can finally get that signed version, but not.
I have 5 signed ones. I don't understand. I signed them a little after the fact.
I'll have to go to eBay and purchase my own.
You could bring it with you next time you come.
All right, it's probably going to cost me a bottle of wine, but that's a separate. In the marketing and branding space, I think it's going to help us. It can, right, help us get more internal and external viewpoints from an organization. And so utilizing automation, and we can only hold so many interviews, you can only hold so many focus groups. It provides scalability. And so you can leveraging the technology, and if you can harness it correctly, I think it can kind of glean some more insights, right, from the likes of like a Glassdoor and Indeed profiles and LinkedIn pages. So I think it can give us a more well-rounded internal and external view from companies, as it just analyzes more and more data faster than a human can. And so more inputs in are more outputs out. And so the more we can take in and learn about the company, both internally and externally, will be beneficial in any type of EVP work that we're doing.
Yeah, I think it's a great call out. It's more data collection, and making it a lot easier to get that information.
That's everyone always wants like an EVP and they want it tomorrow, right? And there's time. And so I do think, again, with technology and automation, hopefully we'll be able to take those timelines. My creative teams are probably going to go crazy right now, but how do we condense timelines and turn things around faster? Because we all know recruiting, the longer we wait, the more costs are out the door. And so we want to move quicker and faster and more efficiently. So I think those are the two that we can find ways in which utilizing technology like ChatGPT to make things happen quicker.
I think it will be some time until an organization can use an automation tool, right, whichever one they lean in on, to truly deliver something that's differential.
Yep.
Right, that really sets them apart. Once somebody called out, I forget who, maybe former Amazon, somebody called it out in our meeting last week that just said, that's a great EVP, that statement that it wrote, but you could just switch the company name out.
Correct.
And it doesn't really align with the values. It's just this generic. Yeah, it's not a true delivery of anything. It's just a starting point for that.
It's the starting point. I'm stealing your word, but that's what it is. And to not use it would be a mess, right? But to just use it also at this point, right, is also a mess. So it's kind of harnessing both.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's just a really great launching point, especially for those who may be short-staffed. And I'm asking it 8 million questions, but I do like it. There was a South by Southwest here in Austin recently. I think it's wrapping up. If it hasn't just wrapped up, I was on the road the whole time on purpose. But I think there was a guy who presented, and his entire deck, he didn't tell anybody until the end, but the entire deck, all the slides were even created by AI, the whole thing.
Well, hey, I will tell you, my oldest is in 3rd grade, and she comes home with math assignments. So the train A leaves at this time, train B leaves at this time. What time do they have to meet together? I'm like, okay, ChatGPT.
You better be careful.
Fabulous. I'm ace in 3rd grade now with ChatGPT. And of course, my daughter's like, what is this? I'm like, hey, you might as well learn it because some way, shape, or form, you're going to be using it. So
college entrance exams, ChatGPT just outscored. It was off the charts, just outscored. But then there's an argument that the results are it's more a result of the human brain being under pressure, right? The person being emotionally under pressure to come up with the answers. And is it just faster? Is that sort of thing? But ChatGPT is going to get its choice of colleges.
Yeah.
Well, look, so I know we talked a lot about ChatGPT, the automation element. We've been chasing automation for years. And trying to figure out how we clean that stuff up. Joe, and you can throw anything else you want in this, if you're going to write a book about sort of what you're seeing in the space or the state of things right now in the recruitment and marketing, so branding space, what do you think the title of that book would be?
The title of the book would be Authenticity. How to not false advertise in the world of recruitment marketing, and how to be transparent. And so again, I always look at things from 3 lenses, but from a partner side as well as from company side, candidates want to know what it's truly like to work there, and employers truly want to know where their ads are going, so it can be purchased and be applied in a lot of different ways. But having transparent views on what it's like to work at a company, and also to know where people are applying for these jobs, is kind of where the future is going. And so the more we can go down that path, I think will benefit both our companies as well as for the partners.
Yeah, I love that. So, Joe, I got to ask, and I know this might be a little bit of a sore point given the book that you've got behind you, but who are you going to give the first signed copy to?
It's got to go to my dad.
Jerry.
He's still my board chair, and I'm not sitting in the seat if it wasn't for him. So, Jerry's, he's got to wait at least 10 years until he gets a signed copy.
I think that's fair. Well, Joe, hang out in the green room. Thank you so much. We're so grateful for you jumping in. Quick 20-minute chat. It's awfully great to see you. Sorry you had to put on a blazer for us today, but we appreciate you're still in shorts.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, hang out. Don't go anywhere just yet. All right, Jerry, really quickly as we sort of wrap up, we had a lot going on. We did the in-person meeting last week. We talked a little bit about that. And then we had a big launch at the same time. I don't know why we do that to ourselves, but we had a big launch of a new community upgrade for CXR.works for people to check that out. Any comments I'm going to put you on the spot. Any comments on that you want to just call out before we?
I love it because it's much more personal in terms of how it sets up. But it's going to require a little bit of work on my part to get it all together for sure. But I like the conversations that I see so far.
Yeah, it's blowing up. I think what we're also seeing is, believe it or not, we've got ChatGPT baked in to the new plan. No, we don't. But there is a little bit of an AI element to it. So as members are now following topics, or as they read more topics on, let's say, marketing and branding, that stuff is floating up into an automated newsletter to them. They're going to see more marketing and branding related content. If they're following sourcing content, They're going to see more sourcing content. So it is an exciting upgrade for the community.
We're also continuing to interview folks for who are in transition as to whether or not they could benefit by membership with Career Crossroads. And so far is some pretty interesting folks that we've had an opportunity to meet who obviously are going to land soon with or without us, but certainly they might take advantage of our platform.
Yeah, quick tale on that, and then we'll go. It's called Community Up. It's a brand new full membership. If you are a TA practitioner who has been displaced, right? So you are on the move, you are in between roles, and you're interested in that, let us know. You got to be a referral from an existing or alumni member, and you still, believe it or not, you still have to do an interview with either Jerry or Barbara or myself to sit down and really talk about what the community means and what you will be held accountable to, just like the rest of our members. We got those 3 rules, right? Do the work, share the work, and no assholes. That's a big one. So we hold pretty strong to that. And the membership, full membership is good 60 days into your new job. So if you're interested, cxr.work/up. I try to keep it simple. I was told there'd be no math. All right. Anything else you want to say to anybody, Jerry?
Nope. Good.
All right. Well, then we're out of here, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the CXR channel. Please subscribe to CXR on your favorite podcast resource and leave us a review while you're at it. Learn more about CXR at our website, cxr.works, facebook.com and twitter.com/Career Crossroads, and on Instagram @CareerXroads. We'll catch you next time.